here. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I wanted to share with you all about how me and my husband budget for our year, for our family of 5. So January is always a time where we get together and talk about our annual budget, what we want for the year, what we want to save, what we want to spend, all that fun stuff, and actually really enjoy it. We've kind of, over the years, developed a system that's easy to understand, easy to implement, and I finally thought, I was like, I should share it with you guys because I get asked a lot about this topic because it's a really important one. I personally think women especially do not talk enough about money and finance. I remember so vividly when I got my first job out of college and I was like, what the heck? No one explained any of this to me. So I have over the years, figured it out, and me and my husband created our own little system, and I just want to share it with you guys. So let me know what you think. If you have any questions in the comments and anything I can help with, let me know. Okay, so I have my laptop here and I'm gonna reference everything, and then I'm gonna put like edited versions up on the screen for you to see. So obviously you won't have like all the numbers in it, but you'll be able to see kind of what we do. So what we mostly use for budgeting day to day is a website or app called Mint. This video is not sponsored. I should have reached out to them. Maybe I will, I'll do a follow-up video. But we've been using Mint for, oh my goodness, probably a decade. Actually, someone asked me on Instagram, are your and your husband's finances combined? And I was like, aren't everyone's? I always had the idea that like husbands and wives' finances are always combined, but that's a whole nother topic. But anyways, ours are combined, and we've been using Mint to budget. So the way we use Mint is we have a monthly budget, and it includes everything from our mortgage payments, our 401k retirement investments, as well as 529 college investments for the kids, and all that fun stuff, as well as the day-to-day spending. And we have different categories like pets, kids. I have a shopping budget. My husband has a shopping budget. Mine's higher. And then we have family or home expenses and gas, restaurants. We have everything sort of listed out, and those categories have changed throughout the years. Obviously kids was added in, and then we have a catch-all category. Part of something we have struggled with is we shop a lot on Amazon. And Amazon obviously includes stuff for me, for the kids, for the home, and sometimes it's a lot of extra work to break all those little things down. But so we do have that kind of catch-all category, which we know covers just an amalgamation of things. And something my husband always reminds me is it doesn't matter so much what category things are, right? So I always am like very conscientious of my shopping budget, and I always want to like stick to my budget. But he's like, it doesn't matter if you're being so strict about your shopping budget and then like not caring at all about the groceries, it's like as long as in the end it all meets the number, that's what's important. So that's why it's okay. It used to really bother me that we had this catch-all category, because I was like, but I want to know exactly which category everything is. But it doesn't really matter as long as you're staying within the family budget. So every month we try to stick to our monthly budget. The reason I love Mint, again, this is not sponsored at all, is that it automatically puts all your spending into categories. So it takes our spending from our credit cards and automatically categorizes it. It learns, like for example, that let's say Gap or wherever I always buy my clothes is automatically goes into my shopping budget. And then at the end of the month, we'll kind of go through and just fix things if anything's like out of whack. But usually Mint gets it, I would say 90 to 95% correct. It knows me by now. It knows, like, it picks up, what's a restaurant, what's a grocery store, and everything like that. So that's a really nice way to look at your monthly spending. They also have so many analytics on Mint. You can see like how your spending has changed throughout time, where you're meeting your goals, where you're not. So just play around on it. It's really fun. The work is linking all your bank accounts and credit cards. Once you've done that, once you put in that time, then you're good to go. Then it's just fun. So we did it once 10 years ago and it's good to go. But yeah, I absolutely love Mint and find it really helpful. And what we do at the beginning of the year is me and my husband look back on the previous year and then adjust the monthly budget. So for example, we had been eating out a ton when I was pregnant. We actually weren't going to restaurants. We were like ordering in from like Uber Eats and whatnot because I was absolutely not cooking. So that year we had a ton, or went way over our restaurant spending budget, but we were under our grocery shopping budget. This year and this, most recent time has been really different because we have a new baby. We're not going out to eat as much. We're home, but we're spending a lot more on groceries. The price of food has gone up. My children are eating a ton. So we just adjust each year for that. Then what we also do is we have what's called an Offment budget, and this is where it kind of gets confusing. But on Mint is what we call monthly expenses, everything that happens, every month. And each month, of course, will be different. So we don't spend exactly the same amount on groceries every single month, but what we try to do is keep within the budget, and then at the end of the year, make sure it all gets to where it needs to be. Off Mint are things like big vacations, larger purchases, things for the home that, are not within monthly spending. And we know that each year we try to budget a certain amount for the home. Like things are gonna break down, we're gonna need to repair stuff. So it's not always fun things for the house. In fact, we've mostly spent on not fun things, but that's how it is with home ownership. So we have categories for those things. And at the beginning of the year, we have all the months of the year listed out, and we put in all the big expenses we know we're gonna have. We also include the kids' birthdays in that because those always end up being expensive, as well as, like I said, vacations and any annual expense that's gonna hit, only one time of the year. We've even budgeted for holidays before, like Hanukkah. We wanna make sure to have extra money at that time. The other thing we do, of course, is look at our income. I work here on YouTube. I'm a social media influencer, whatever title you want to call it. And so that means my income fluctuates enormously throughout the year. So there's some months where it's always higher and some months where it's always lower. So what we do to accommodate that is usually my husband's income is used to cover those monthly expenses on Mint, like all those essentials, and then my income, because it doesn't come in the same amount each month, covers more of the off Mint stuff. So we save it and allocate it for that. So that's just kind of how we work with the way our salaries are distributed, if that makes sense. But it's definitely hard if you have an income like mine that's uneven throughout the year. Very, very difficult to budget that way, but I think it's true, or I think it's a reality for a lot of people these days, is that things just fluctuate throughout the year. The next thing we think about is long-term expenses. So we know we have things like summer camp, bar mitzvahs. I'm so excited. Bar mitzvahs coming up in a few years, and of course college and things like that in the future for our kids. So we also include within our savings on Mint each month that some of that money is going towards those larger things in the future, like if there's a big trip that we want, or like I mentioned, the bar mitzvahs coming up, so that we're always saving towards those big long-term goals. What I really love about budgeting this way is me and my husband don't really argue so much about spending money, and I think that that is very helpful for our marriage. Of course, we have disagreements from time to time. There's things I want to spend on and he doesn't, and he does and I doesn't. He wanted to get new windows for the house, which I didn't, but he ended up doing. Obviously, I don't like spending money on things you can't even see through them. But anyways, so we definitely have different spending desires in that way, like any two people would. But because we get together at the beginning of the year and decide what we're going to spend money on and what we're going to save money on, it really helps. So for example, at the beginning of this year, we said we really don't want to travel this year. We traveled a lot with our family this past year, spent a lot of money doing that, and we kind of looked at it and we're like, that was really exhausting. We loved those trips. They were all to see family and were very special, but we said this year we want to try and not travel and save instead. So that's hopefully what we're going to do. But instead of us, like we said, are we going to come up on the summer and be like, oh my goodness, we want to go to the Bahamas? It's we've talked about it now at the beginning of the year, and then there's not any sort of hidden frustrations or whatever, because we're on the same page and we're agreeing on what we want our goals to be for the year. And it's nice, again, to have that kind of calm discussion at the beginning of the year, and if my husband really wants something or I really want something, we can try and find a way to fit into the budget at the beginning of the year and save for it or whatever it is, and just know. And that gives me enormous peace of mind. Like, I was so excited when we finally signed the kids up for camp, finally in January. I don't know if it's this crazy where you guys live, but in the DC area, you sign up in January for the summer. It's insane. But I was so thankful to have it done, because then I knew exactly what the budget for camp was gonna be, and that was like the last piece of our annual budget. So anyways, I hope that all makes sense and is helpful if you guys are budgeting. Like I said, when I graduated college and was doing all of this on my own for the first time, I was like so overwhelmed. One book I read that I'll recommend because it was so helpful was I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit. I've recommended his book over the years many times. He really walks through not just basic budgeting, but how to think in a growth mindset and how to like accumulate wealth throughout your life, which is fascinating. That book really changed my perspective on money. So I want to recommend it to you. Okay, so that's my budgeting video. I hope you found it helpful. Again, let me know if you have any questions in the comments. Do you use Mint? Do you use QuickBooks or one of the other programs out there? Let me know what you guys use. Do you use pen and paper? Oh, that was my last comment. A lot of people who are strict about budgeting and really interested in this kind of thing work with cash and cash envelopes. And I've looked into that a lot, but what I have found is if you're responsible, and not as a personality trait, but like if you're able to pay your monthly expenses each month, I personally prefer to spend everything on the credit card, knowing it's going to be paid at the end of the month, not accumulating interest or anything like that, because then you can earn miles or points or whatever, versus the cash envelopes where you don't get any bonuses. However, if you're struggling to make the payments, or you're in any way nervous about accumulating credit card debt, then definitely I would not recommend that strategy. But something I learned from Ramit is that there are so many advantages to the credit cards if you can pay them off. So that's why we don't use the cash envelope budgeting strategy, if you've heard of that one before. Although it is interesting, and I think I did it when I was younger and starting out, and that really taught me like how to budget, because you really see what you're spending, and you really can't spend over your limit because you only have the cash that's in the envelope for that particular thing. So yeah, that's just a little bit about cash envelopes. All right, I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.